Hello my friends, Asoka the Geek here, and for this review, we're going to take a look at the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Rebirth Batmobile and Batman. So here they are. The Batmobile obviously already out of the box, and we'll get this Batman out of the box in a moment. But these both went up for pre-order on the McFarlane Toys website a few weeks ago. And yeah, already shipped and already here, so which is pretty awesome. I am a fan of this design of the Batmobile because it looks like the animated Batmobile, obviously. So I really love how they took inspiration directly from the animated Batmobile when they designed this Batmobile. And I love the assortment of Batmobiles that we've gotten from McFarlane Toys thus far. They're almost done with all of the movie Batmobiles. Curious if there will be any other Batmobiles in 2026 before the license goes to Mattel. I hope so. I hope we get a few more vehicles. Maybe like the Bat Missile or the Bat Ski Boat. There's some things they could still do from the movies, which I hope we do get. The Redbird, Robin's Redbird. Well, anyways, here is the Batmobile. This is not the most ideal spot to do a review of a vehicle, but what can I do? I was going to do it in the garage, but it wasn't working there. I wanted more light. I don't know. So I thought I would just do it here, but hopefully you'll get a good idea of what this Batmobile looks like. This front piece is the only piece that came unattached that you just have to get on there. But there you go. There's the wheels. There's the top of it. There is the back of it. Really nice back there with the jet and all that. I just hit the camera. Yeah, looks great. And then if you hit the button right here, it opens up, and then you can see the details in the cockpit. And the Batman, the Rebirth Batman fits in there very easily, and so does any 7-inch scale Batman for the most part, so far anyways. There we go, get that in there. So yeah, it's a good looking Batmobile. I think for me, the only thing that I wish was different or that they would have done is just done more paint, or any paint really. Just give it a coat of paint, weather it up a little bit. For example, this is the original Build the Batmobile from the first wave of McFarlane figures, where you got a few pieces of the Batmobile to build. And yeah, look how much like weathering and paint detail you have on this thing. I think this would have been a much cooler look if they were able to do this. Obviously, that would have cost more money, but still, I wish they would have done some weathering and details like you see here on this mini version of this Batmobile, but what can you do? So, there you go. There's the mini Batmobile. But still, overall, I really like this Batmobile. It looks cool. It's from the comics. It looks like the animated one. I don't have the animated one handy to show you right now, but if you go look at my YouTube shorts, I do a comparison there with all the other Batmobiles, or a few of the other Batmobiles at least, so you can get an idea of how this looks next to the animated Batmobile. But yeah, again, overall, I really like this Batmobile. Love the design, love the sculpting, how they made it come to life. Just wish it was painted with some weathering. Really, that's it. That's my only gripe with it. It looks very toyetic as is, right? It looks more like maybe more like a Spin Master type Batmobile, more from a kid's toy line versus like a collector edition Batmobile from McFarlane Toys. I guess that's kind of the way it looks. And that works for the animated Batmobile. They don't do like paint weathering and all that on that because it's supposed to look streamlined, but yeah, it would have been nice for this, but still happy to have this Batmobile. It looks great. This is still up for pre-order on the McFarlane Toys website. You can also wait to get it from Ross probably in the next few months. That's a sort of a painful laugh I have there because I've spent a lot of money on these collectibles and I'm seeing folks find it. Hey, good for you. I'm just being a hater right now, finding it for half the cost, if not less, at Ross. So there you go. If you do have a Ross in town, go check it out because people have been finding like the animated Batwing. Toy Shiz found the animated Batwing there. People finding statues and cowls, all this really cool stuff that was quite expensive, but now is at Ross at a discounted price. So a little tangent there. Anyways, let's move on from the Batmobile and let's take a look at the Rebirth Batman figure. All right, so there is the Rebirth Batmobile out. There's the Rebirth Batman outside of the packaging. There's the trading card that it comes with. It looks pretty cool there. Nice artwork. There's the back of the trading card. Then here's the stuff in the tray. The unmasked Bruce Wayne head, which I'll show you in a few moments. Batarang, grapple gun, extra sets of hands. This is like the 4th or 5th time they've released this figure with a different paint deco, different cape and whatnot. Slightly different head probably. So we've seen this figure before. The first thing that bummed me out, or really the only thing that bums me out about this figure, is there's no wire in the cape. Oh, McFarlane, you guys teased us with having the wire in the cape for so many figures, and now it seems to be missing for most of the recent releases, which is a bummer. But to be honest with you, I don't care for how this cape looks, because it's fine. Like, I like the quality of it, I guess. But without the wire, it just kind of flops around a little bit too much, in my opinion. I'd rather honestly have a plastic cape rather than this cloth cape, if I'm being totally honest. If it had the wire in it, different story, because then you can make some cool poses with it. But, yeah, as it is, yeah, it's a bummer without the wire. It really sucks that they seem to have ditched that. But I do like the purple here. The purple sheen looks great. That's one of the defining characteristics of this version of Batman, is that purple cape. So that is pretty awesome. I love the logo, the belt. Again, we've seen this figure a few times now, but I still really like the sculpt. My only issue with the figure overall, other than the cape, is that this figure is just kind of runs on the smaller side. So he doesn't really scale well with other McFarlane figures, like the new Superman body. Not so new anymore, but it doesn't scale well with this guy, and I'll show you in a few moments. But there he is. Good articulation. You can make some really cool Batman poses with him, of course. But yeah, it's a bummer about the lack of wire in the cape. I know you can put a wire in there pretty easily. There's even holes for it, but I'm too lazy to do that. So yeah. All right, let's see how this guy looks next to a few other McFarlane figures. All right, so there it is next to the blue and gray Rebirth Batman. Love this figure. And look, I love the cape on that one, even though it's just a plastic cape. This non-wire really kills this cape, because you can't just have him like that. It just sort of flops around and falls off the table there. That was very dramatic, the way I screamed there when it fell off, but you know, sorry. Anyways, there he is. Yeah, that cape, man. Such a bummer. But other than that, same figure, not the same figure, right? You see this one has the bat symbol sculpted on versus the Rebirth one that doesn't have the sculpted bat symbol. So that's interesting. I kind of like the sculpted one, but okay, what can you do? Obviously the grays are different as well. So there are some differences in the head sculpt. Actually, let's take a look at the Batman head on the Rebirth one. Let's see here. I think they're basically, I think they're the same. Are they? Yeah, I think they're the same. Maybe. Yeah, more or less they're the same. But I'm fine with that. I like having different versions of the same costume on the same body, because it's fun, right? It's just fun when you can kind of do that. But yeah, let me have to do a cut here. Here is the Silver Age Superman, which has now become like your standard Superman next to Rebirth Batman. As you can see, they do not scale well together at all. So that's a bummer. And listen, I don't really care about scale too much typically, because all my figures are all mixed together. But when I'm doing like group shots of like the Justice League, it's nice when they all scale together. So obviously Rebirth Batman never makes the cut because he's just too small. But still a really nicely designed Batman. I think one of McFarlane's best Batmans, which is why I keep buying it, because it's just such a cool looking figure, great design. And they always, even these reissues, they do a great job with tweaking him up a little bit. But anyways, there you go. So there's your look at Rebirth Batman and the Rebirth. I'm awkwardly try to place the Batmobile back in frame. There we go. And the Rebirth Batmobile. Overall, I like these two. I like all the McFarlane Batmobiles, so obviously I was going to pick this one up. And I like having this version of Batman. The wire kills me though with this guy, but other than that, it's a really nice looking Batman figure. So there you go. There's your look at Rebirth Batman and the Rebirth Batmobile. Let me know if you have any comments in the questions. If you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. But as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you guys watching these videos. I know I ramble a little bit, but thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Take care. Bye.